Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What is happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and I'm very pumped and I'm very honored about my next guest. From the Kid Chris Show on WEBN in Cincinnati, Kid Chris is on Hoppe Hour. What's up, dude?
So you do a podcast and interview radio people, or you interview other people too?
I interview radio people. I'll interview local comedians. I've also had guys like Bobby Slayton and Dan Soder on. I mean, and I also rant about the news. It's pretty much a free-for-all of a show. It won Best Local Podcast here in Tampa too, so I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, it's simply because of the radio DJs aspect of it, right? It's got to be.
That, and I'm very gracious and grateful for the exposure that Mike Kelta and Drew Garabo have given me down here and how the Bone has embraced me because, dude, Tampa Bay is a legit market, man.
Well, that's cool. Look, I like podcasting and stuff, so, I do these once in a while, and it's fun. I like when I didn't have this opportunity to do this when I was a budding young radio person. I wish I had podcast stuff back in the day.
Do you think if you had podcasts back then, you would have had an easier way to go into radio, or was it pretty easy overall for you?
No, podcast. I don't think you're going to get a job out of podcasting, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, could I have done a podcast and then got a job in Philadelphia or something?
Yeah.
No, no way. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen that way. I don't think.
Yeah, because to me, it seems like podcasts grow real fast if you have exposure, like when I have exposure on the Bone, or if your name is like Adam Carolla. But if you're some guy, you could be the best podcast in the world. But if you don't have the exposure and you're doing it from your room, you basically don't have a chance. It's sort of sad, but it's just the truth.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's sad. I mean, yeah, it's just that you just got to know that going in. But like iTunes is basically a forest. And when the big shows happen on there or whatever, nobody knows it's there. You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to make the noise.
What do you think about the future of radio? Do you think podcasts will incorporate with it, or is this just a trend? What do you think of it?
Oh, it's not a trend at all. No, I think it's already there. I think I think like what with my show, I think like iHeartRadio is kind of like the Hulu of radio, where we do our show live and then it ends up on iHeartRadio, and you can go and watch it whatever. Just like I don't watch regular TV. I don't have the time for it. So like Hulu and Netflix are like my world, and I think the radio is kind of along the same lines. But obviously. For a second, I when I came like to iHeart, I was like, man, it'd be cool if iHeart started opening up where they would have guys just do like a show on iHeart, like a podcast. Some guys are doing that, I guess, but still, that interaction with a live audience is still the best. So like going on the radio is still the best part of it. You know what I mean? Where
yeah.
I think you understand, like when you're doing a podcast, you're in a room by yourself and it's on tape, so you're not listening to it live, and you can't call in and interact. That's the one thing that the whole podcast side of it is kind of lacking for me at least. I mean, other guys obviously could do it without calls and stuff. But I enjoy the interaction.
Well, I'm very grateful because the fan base down here, I do the show when I do it live, like my rants, I do it on Spreaker, and Spreaker has the thing where you can chat me live, so I can take calls, dude, but I can get messages in real time, and I'll get like 8 or 9 people that chat with me, and it's fun, and you'll get the tweets. Like, to me, having social media is key if you're doing a podcast, because if you can't take calls, you can at least read messages, and then they feel like they're a part of the show. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Sure. I'm a big fan of Jim Ross's podcast. The wrestler announcer guy there.
Yeah.
And, before he has a guest on, whatever, he'll tweet out that he's got so-and-so coming on, and the people will send in questions and stuff. I think that's great. And like I said, he doesn't take calls and stuff, and obviously it's a tape, and it works just fine. I like the whole podcasting thing, but, unfortunately, some people that are, that I don't want to say shouldn't be doing a podcast, it's too easy.
Yeah.
So it clutters it from people who actually have a access to a real studio and it can do phone calls and this and that. But that's just my take. I'm sure there's great shows that are out there that are done from the fucking basement. I don't know. Who knows?
Here's what annoys me is the people who say online, they'll be like, I do the radio show that's online. It's no, be true to yourself. You do an online show or you do a podcast. I hate the people that put in all the clutter so then it makes a podcast an embarrassment when you say I do an online radio show. You're not on the radio, dude. That's what annoys me about podcasts is the people that get big egos and they try to grow it even bigger. It's like, just be yourself, man.
Yeah. I mean, whatever. People can do what they want. The only negative I run into, I don't run into, but I see is people who have a podcast. They will talk down about radio, and I think that's just because they're not on it.
Yeah.
So, which whatever. Look, I've been there. I've been bitter at radio and all that stuff. I mean, it's a love hate. So, I get it. But nobody cares.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to say it.
Now, you just said you've had a love-hate with radio, but right now you are kicking ass at WEBN in Cincinnati. So how has everything been there, man?
It's fine. Same thing, different call letters. That's all it is.
How do you approach your show each day? Like, how does prep work? Like, do you think about your show all day, or is it a thing where you get the prep right before you go to bed? How does that work for you?
No, I can't. Yeah, it's hard. I can't sit down and just go, it's almost time for bed. I got to sit down and prep. I mean, it's all day long. So if I get a window here, a window there, I'll jump on the computer and look around. But all day I have, like on my phone, it's really obnoxious. I used to carry a little pad with me or whatever, pieces of paper, but now I use on my phone the little notes app, and I just collect stuff all day long. And then maybe before I go to bed, I'll sort it out and get it ready for print in the morning. But usually it's first thing in the morning. I'll go through and do all that stuff. But yeah, I don't have a set. I mean, the only set time where I sit down and get ready is like when I get up and right before the show, yeah, it's always, I can't sit and just watch something without having to write something down. That's what sucks.
Does that drive your wife and kids like crazy, or is it a thing where you're able to find time with them? Like, how does that work, having a wife and kids and then doing a morning show every day?
Well, from what I used to do, I mean, it really, a couple things have taken back seat, and it's kind of a pain in the ass because there's a couple things that I've wanted to do that I haven't been able to get to because of family responsibility stuff, and that's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's stuff that can be put on the back burner, I guess. I don't like it there, but there's only so much time. I mean, I can only do so much. But as far as like jumping on the notes and stuff while I'm hanging with the family, whatever, that's how everything gets paid for. So, that's just me.
Do you ever find yourself like burning out, or is it where you love radio so much you love each second of being employed?
Well, no, I do get burned out a lot. I used to not take vacations, and I would always work on those little holidays, like the 1 day off holidays and all that stuff. But you have to take time when you have a family too. You have to take time. I mean, you have to. I've learned that through the years because I get burnt, and I would just fry out, and then I would start lashing out. Where now, like at the end of the year, I take 2 weeks off at the end of the year, and like I just came off of that, and I couldn't wait to get back on the radio. So you have to step away, whether you like it or not. I know you love it because you're a young dude and stuff. So, but you got to step away. You have to.
Isn't it weird when you go on break and there's like breaking news and you're on break so you can't talk about it? That's what happened with me when I was in Illinois for break. I really wanted to talk about the whole Miss Universe thing and how that's just a big PR move, but I didn't have a place to record it. So does it ever drive you crazy when you're on vacation and something is breaking but you have no outlet to report on it?
Oh, of course. I mean, like here, the Bengals went into, they had a big game, a big couple games where we were off, and we missed that. And then, Lemmy from Motorhead died. I mean, and that's big for me because I'm a Motorhead fan. And then but yeah, of course, things like that you miss. It always something big happens when you're not at work, and it sucks.
Yeah,
and
man.
It mostly sucks not because I have no place to vent about it, because I can on Twitter or whatever. But it sucks because I think the people who, like, we put together our best of. Dubs, who works on my show, puts together the best of where things are all gridded out, where nothing runs at the same time that it did, that it aired. It's usually like 2 hours away from where it aired.
Yeah.
So different ears are hearing it. So most of the time, people don't even think we're off. So when something big happens and we're not there and we're not talking about it, I think that's a signal, and I don't like that.
And now also, I want to know this. Even though you have wife and kids, and even though you work a morning show and you're doing prep all day, what are some things you do to relax? Do you meditate? Do you watch a show on Netflix? How do you try to find free time?
I wish I did that. Look, I don't. There's a lot of stuff that I used to rip on and all that. I'm sure you do as well. You probably dial through the radio and you hear guys who go, "Oh, that sucks," all this and that. But I wish I could find and set a time, like, to do something like a meditate. Everybody who does that loves it. I just don't. I never dove into that. And also, like, for free time, like hobby stuff. I hate to say it, but I guess my hobby stuff is just watching pro wrestling shit on my iPad. All of it.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing really that I could step back from as far as I can. Well, that or it's like documentaries on Netflix. I watch a lot of. I'm like an old man. I watch documentaries, and I can step back. But even the documentaries, I'll be writing notes for work to talk about. But the wrestling stuff, I can. That's probably one of the only things I could step back and just watch that for entertainment, because it's so off the wall and so stupid that it's mine.
Is it one of those things where, like, watching wrestling brings you back to, like, being a kid? Because that's what I see. I don't get wrestling. I don't hate it. I just don't get it. But I feel like people like your age love it because it reminds them of the 80s. Is that your case with wrestling?
Well, no, I never. Well, I guess I don't know, maybe, but I don't reminisce about it like that. I mean, I do when I'm on Facebook and I see friends from high school. That's where I do that reminiscing stuff. But I just like it because it's so. There's nothing cooler than a job. I mean, I've said this countless times, and it's so appealing to me that these guys get paid by an audience that is out there waiting for them, and then they go out into the ring and they tell that audience that paid to see them that they're all pieces of shit. And to me, that is the coolest thing ever. I haven't laughed. I mean, obviously stand-up comics and stuff I'll laugh at, but I watch wrestling like I would, like it's a sitcom. To me, it is, and I know there's people that despise it, and they don't get it, and that's fine because they got their own hang-ups or whatever. But I love it. It's so awesome, and plus these guys are so hot.
Oh, I know. They're ripped as hell. Like, don't you watch wrestling and you just wish you were as ripped as them? To me, it's like when I go to the gym and I feel average. That's one thing about wrestling I don't like, is I'm just like, God damn it, I'm average,
Yeah, I gave up on that bullshit a long time ago.
Yeah, dude, don't you hate people that have to brag about how they do their workout regimens on Facebook and Twitter? Like, it's becoming a problem, dude. Like, just go to the gym, lift the bar, and shut up.
Yeah, like your buddy Rob, he's a big jerk off with his workout stuff. It's really obnoxious. It is putting his kid all over Facebook. Knock it off.
You don't do that? You don't put your kid online?
No, I do all the time.
Yeah, man, Rob's a good guy. Rob has spoken highly about you, man.
Not really. He's not a good guy. This is a guy that used to do steroids. Do you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he did steroids, and then he would scream at his girlfriend.
I did not know this, man. Go on.
I have tapes of it. I had her on my radio show talking about it. He's a ticking time bomb. That dude is trouble.
Did you ever see potential in him, since he now is the producer of a major market radio show?
Well, yeah. I vouched for him for a couple gigs, of course.
What was it about him when you picked him as an intern? What did you see in Rob Gargiulo?
Toned ass, abs. I don't know. He just he wasn't lazy. It was hard. Like, you know, when we did that show in Philadelphia, I mean, one of the things I prided myself on was the interns were always involved with the show, and if they hung in there and then they brought stuff to the table and were 100% into the show and whatnot, and not worried about being embarrassed and I can't do that on the air or this and that, then that, I mean, if your gun's out, then that means you're ready to enter, I think. So yeah, he was all about it, and I think after he left my show, he went and did his own show in Jersey. He wasn't one of those guys that had to look at he wanted to work. He didn't go, well, I want to go to New York, I want to go here, I want to go there, because you can't look at it like that. So he wanted just to work. So that's why I vouch for him. There's only a few interns that I vouch for, because you know, my name's on it.
Yeah. Do you ever get nervous when you vouch for someone, or do you know in your heart that they're going to work out?
No, if I'm vouching for you, then yeah, there's no doubt.
What is the craziest thing you've ever had interns do? Like, have you ever got in trouble with management because of something you had them do?
No. Well, no, I had an intern in Wichita that was he must have had emotional problems or something, because he would come in and he'd be hanging out on the show and whatnot, and he would like sing these corny karaoke songs and stuff, and we'd goof on him, and then he'd leave, and I'd still be at work, and I would get an email from him telling me he, would wish I would die in a plane crash and burn and all this stuff. It was really odd, and threatened me, and then he'd come in the next day like nothing happened, and then it would just go back and forth. It was really odd.
How creeped out were you, dude?
I mean, well, I mean, the radio that show and radio in general attracts that stuff. You know, you've worked in radio, so
yeah.
you know, like when you're out somewhere, you're out at the table and you got fucking koozies and shit. The people that come up to you are out of their mind. Yeah, so I mean, it attracts it. It's a bug light. So I'm used to it.
What was your time like in Wichita?
You know, I used to goof on it. I used to goof on it because, like I said, when I was younger, I wanted to, it was that whole, I got to work for that. I got to work for the big city and this and that, which is all bullshit. But I look back at it now that if I didn't work in that town and do the things try the things I did, I wouldn't have got better. I mean, there was stuff I did there that I wouldn't even dream about doing now. It's like, what was I thinking? So, I mean, that's what was great about it was, so those cities, it's like working for the miners or playing for the miners for a while. You got to do it.
Now, it
was so awesome. Plus, I mean, the girls in Kansas are so hot.
Really?
And, yeah, and I didn't get any money there, so I mean, it was all about doing bar gigs and stuff. So it was it was the best. My wife hates when I talk about that shit, but it was so good.
Would you drop your name and be like, "Hey, I'm Kid Chris. You want to bang me?"
No, I'd be out of gigs, and so they would know. And also, I mean, that's considered the Bible Belt, so people were always on my case on the news and stuff. So that really helped out. Yeah, I got girls there that I never thought I'd ever get. I've never gotten, the type of women like attorneys and things like that. It was amazing.
Who were the craziest? Was it girls like that, or was it a girl that's like just one that drinks all the time? Who is the craziest girl you ever hooked up with?
Oh, well, I had one girl in see, Thomas knows this one because he was there. In San Antonio, this one girl showed up, and she did a thing where she did stand up in the studio with no clothes on, and she had a nice body, but she was in a car accident, so like there was glass that like scarred her up a little bit on her body and all that stuff. But I still was like, oh, I'd hit that, so I did. And she was married, and I don't know how she did it, but she kept calling my apartment and hanging up. And it was really weird, and I got really sick of it. So I ended up calling back, and her little kid answered the phone. And I cursed out the little kid, and I told her, you tell your fucking mother I know it's her and tell her to quit calling my house. And then there was another time where I had this was in Kansas. These two girls showed up. Genuine was coming to town. I was on a rap station. Genuine was coming to town, and my friend Paul was in the studio, and he's a big bouncer guy. And these girls show up, and they wanted to win Genuine tickets, and they were. I had a girlfriend at the time that was living with me, so I wasn't interested in any fun. So these two girls were like, "Oh, we'll do anything to win these tickets. We'll, and they were offering all these services, and we were like, "No, you got to go." So they left. And then Paul and I talked about it on the air about how these two girls came in and they were offering to do all this stuff and this and that, and how we told them to get lost. And I didn't know this, but their boyfriends were out in the car. They were the ones that that brought them there to get the tickets, but they didn't know obviously that they wanted to do dirty shit. So the boyfriends got all mad at me, and they threw a cinder block through my fucking window of my car. So that night I went walking out to my car, and there was I drove a Honda CRX, and the back window was gone, and there was just this big fucking cinder block right there.
What's that like? I mean, were you making enough cash where it was easy to fix, or were you like, God damn it, what's wrong with my luck?
Yeah, it was the God damn it. It cost me $75.
Yeah, man, that sucks.
Yeah, I didn't have that dough. That's for sure. I wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, obviously, you don't want to deal with that now. I had to go to my where I was living, and I had to back my car into the driveway because it's embarrassing, and everybody knows who I was. So, and then those guys, they started calling after that and breaking my balls on the radio station. But I had caller ID, so I just gave the number to the cops, and they dealt with it. But yeah, I can't. Those are two that I could, or three, whatever that was, but I could think of right now. But there's been some. I caught chlamydia from listeners and shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I've talked about that on the radio.
What's that like? Did you think it might be like herpes or something where it wouldn't go away, or how did that work? Like when you find out you have chlamydia, what's the first thing that goes through your mind, dude?
Well, oh fuck, dude, I was leaving my place. This was in Kansas the first time I got it. It was some girl who showed up at the radio station, and I had some local band in the studio. And when she showed up, they were cool. They said, "Okay, we know what's up, man. We're going to go." So I walked them to the door. And then when I came walking back in the studio, she was naked and just started going to town on me. And then I did my thing. And a couple days later, we had it was like a Monday or Tuesday morning. The radio station had a jock meeting, and I was the night guy. So I got up, and I remember driving to the station, and it just felt like that after I went to the bat, I peed, that I didn't jiggle it enough. You know what I mean? I always felt like I was dripping. So I remember finally just at a stoplight just going, what the fuck? So I pulled out my dick, and I squeezed it, and this pus came out the top. And I thought, oh, shit, I got something from that girl. So I drove to the station, and I sat through that meeting in a daze. And after it was over, the afternoon guy at the time was still, I'm the godfather to his kid. He's an attorney now, but he afterwards he came up. He's like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" And I was like, "Dude, I think I caught something from that girl." So, and again, I didn't have insurance. I didn't have money, so I had to go to Planned Parenthood or like the clinic. And
what's that like when you go there?
The waiting room smelled like dirty feet. It was horrible. And then I had to go in there and lay on this counter, and this woman, this doctor lady, took it was like a long Q-tip and put it down my dick shaft and took a whole swab.
How painful was that?
It was one of the worst things I've ever had. Well, I had ass surgery at one point later on, obviously, but that was one of the worst. But it was so scary because you only get one dick.
Yeah. Dude, were you just going raw? Like, did you not know what a condom was?
No, I did, but it was like it was nothing hotter than walking in the studio and a girl's just standing there naked wanting you. And you know, I hate to say it, but it's that typical. She looked clean.
Yeah,
but
you can never
true.
know, man.
No, you never know. But it was like the Scared Straight program, though, because man, I after that I wouldn't go anywhere without a rubber. It was dude, no way. And then about 3 years later, I caught chlamydia again from another girl in Sacramento. But that was a girl that was on the regular, so that was a shock. And later on, I think she had sex with a comedian friend who may have caught something from her too. I'm not going to say his name.
How long does it take for it to go away? Do you just put cream on it, take a pill?
No. It's just bacteria thing. It's just it's really gross. And actually, what's scary is girls get it sometimes, and they don't even know they have it.
Oh, it sucks.
And they could get really sick. But yeah, it's just like penicillin and stuff, and it's gone within days. But at the time, I was wearing tidy whities, and they were all ruined. They were all like green in the front from the dripping and stuff. And I mean, I know this is all disgusting, but it's kind of you don't want to fuck around with this shit. So I threw all that stuff away, and that's when I started wearing boxers. So that's about 1999. God bless.
What does your wife think of this? Your whole past of getting chlamydia. What does she think?
Well, look, she's no fucking saint. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean, she knew about all that stuff before I even met her. So, because I would talk. She was a sales girl at my radio station, so she would hear us talking about all this stuff. So,
is it weird that your wife used to be your coworker? Like, how does that work? How do you ask out one of the hot girls from the sales team?
I didn't really ask her out. We were at a gig and we kind of got drunk, and then a couple gigs got drunk and talked to each other, and then one gig we got drunk and just hooked up.
Dude, you've lived a life, man. You give me hope, dude, because radio guys don't pull in poon a lot, but you give me hope, man, because I'm awkward, I'm weird, I'm odd. I'm trying to figure out my way through life because I don't want to bang everything that walks.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. I lost my V card to a 48-year-old Rovers Morning Glory fan in Cleveland, dude. She was a MILF.
Good. Listen, no, you can't. You gotta listen. If you want to get good, and if you ever wanted to get married or get a hot girlfriend,
yeah,
you want to be able to take care of her. You don't want to be some amateur.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the way I looked at it. And plus, I didn't get any in high school until I was 18, and to me, dude, I was on hard all through high school.
Oh, me
no
too.
Girls would talk to me and all that shit. So I'm like, fuck this. So when I got out there, it was every girl paid for what I didn't get in high school, and it didn't matter. And plus, I mean, dude, I was 20-something years old. I was ready. How old are you?
22.
You fuck that. Just get out there, man. You're lucky you got Facebook and Twitter and Tinder and all this shit. All I had was the AOL chat.
How did that go down? Would it like refresh a lot and buffer? Like, how hard was it to talk dirty to a girl when you have AOL chat and that's it?
Well, dude, when I had when first got on the radio in Syracuse, all I had was AOL chat, and it was with the dial-up. So I would sit at night. I would work. I was just a producer on a morning show, and then on the weekends, I would just stay up all night and just talk to girls in the Syracuse chat room.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Yeah, but I would have a little sticky on the like the little note. It was called a ClarisWorks. It was like a Word doc. So I'd open that up and I would type out something like, "Hey, what's going on?" Blah blah blah, something generic, and then I would like find girls in the chat room that had like girl screen names, so you knew it was a chick. And then I would just open it up a message to them, and I would just copy and paste that, kind of fish them, and just wait for the replies back. And then I would just work whoever replied back.
Did you ever get close to getting catfished on there, or were you good
No.
at getting girls?
No. I never got catfish on there, but I did use my friend Tony and I used it to catfish guys, and then I have videos of this up on. I think they're up on my website. Yeah, they should be up on kidchris.com. It's I had one of those old VCR cameras in my house.
Yeah.
and a speakerphone wired into a mixer and all that shit. And we would call, in the middle of the night, we would call guys pretending to be girls. And my friend Tony would talk like a girl to them and get them to bounce their dicks on the telephone and all that shit. It was so good.
Don't you feel bad looking back, or is it where you just think it's funny?
It's funny. Fuck them. I don't know who they are, and they don't know who I am. Who cares?
That's a good point. It's not like you're making them think they're going to meet some girl at a nice place and then it's some dude that shows up. It's just fucking around.
Phone sex. Yeah, it's phone sex. You can just hang up, and they normally did when we start laughing at them.
Here's what I want to know, dude. How was the thing of watching porn in the 90s? Because I could just pull up my iPhone and watch Lisa Ann get gangbang right now. What was it like watching porn when you had dial-up? How hard was it?
Well, I didn't watch it on dial-up. I would watch it. It was VCR tapes. All dial-up, all you would really get is pictures. That's all you could really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't start watching videos on there until I was in Wichita. I went to Wichita in 1998, and probably 99 or 2000 is when I got when cable brought the internet.
Yeah.
And we were on the cable internet box thing there, and then it was fast. And then that was around Napster and all that stuff. So it was hard to watch videos on there with dial-up. So, or you'd have to do it at work when they would have ISDN or whatever.
Wait, so you used to choke the chicken at work?
Oh, I do that now. I've done that now.
Dude, I've never done that. I will be honest, though. I choked the chicken twice or 3 times back in high school, and every time I got caught in the bathroom. So, like, isn't it weird when you do it in a public place?
Like in the bushes?
No.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've done it. Let's see. I worked at a grocery store. I've done it there. I never did it at school.
I was a horny kid, dude. I would look at the cheer girls, and I'm like, why can't they like me? So then I would get horny. Mrs. Fisher, can I go to the bathroom? Then I'd be back 9 minutes after a long bathroom session.
Yeah, I never did that in school. I was I was angry. So, like the hot chicks in school that didn't talk to me, I would just call their house and listen to them say hello a few times and just hang up. I mean, that's why when I banged that chick with the scars and stuff, and she was doing that to me, I knew it was up.
Dude, did you ever find yourself mad at girls? Because I find myself, I don't get angry at them, but the years of rejection in high school, I'm trying to find a way to be calm around them. I'm just so used to getting rejected, dude, that I get nervous around them immediately. I'm trying to work on that factor of myself.
You have that anger that I have.
Oh, dude, wasn't it awful when you had the biggest crush on the girl and you find out she's banging the quarterback and you're like, God damn it.
She didn't even have to be banging. She could be just like choosing not to bang me and just not bang anybody. And just like not, she's like, oh, I'd rather not have sex with anybody than with you.
Wasn't it heartbreaking? Because back then it was puppy love, and we thought we were supposed to be married, have a giant house, nice car.
Yeah. Like everything I watch on TV was fucking bullshit. As far as like 16 Candles and all that shit, that's all bullshit. That's why right now, look, dudes aren't the guys that are bullies. It's the women that are fucking bullies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now the bullying shit. It needs to come off the dudes and go right to the women. They are the biggest fucking cunts on the planet Earth, and they ruin dudes from the beginning. From when you're fucking, they are the razor blade that cuts out our personalities. The reason why I am fucking seeing red right now is because of what I went through in high school.
Dude, girls TP'd my house. The cheerleading squad TP'd my house and egged it.
Well, then you're just a jerk off.
Dude, I was just a weird kid. Now I'm just a weird young adult, but I tried so hard to fit in that it hurt what I was trying to do in school. Like, for example, when I worked for Rover in Cleveland, there was this girl that was only talking to me because I was on the biggest show in Cleveland, but I had the biggest crush on her. And for 3 months, dude, I kept trying to chase her. And the last weekend when I left Cleveland, I tried to bang her. So I bought her a drink, and she's like, you've just been paying for drinks the last 4 months, and I was never going to bang you. So I went on this long rant about her at the bar to her face. Later on that night at the apartment, I walk in on her going on some guy on the bed, and it was so heartbreaking, dude. And that's when I'm like, screw it. Girls that are fans of radio cannot be ones that you can trust. It was heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah. Well, you should have just jerked off on her back while she was fucking that guy.
This is the same type of girl, dude. She went on the show 4 months later and was talking crap about me after I've been gone for 5 months. I mean, I don't know what I saw in her, dude. The heartbreak I felt, Chris, was insane.
Yeah, you just learned that they're using you like you're gonna, and you just gotta use them.
I tried, dude. I'm goofy around girls, man. I am so bad. Anybody can attest to that. I'm trying to work on it. Like, I went on a date last Friday, and it went really well, but I'm trying to figure out if she likes me or not, man. I'm really bad at...
Don't even go... I don't know. Dates, you shouldn't go out and... Just go drinking with them at a fucking Applebee's or something. That's it.
That's what we did. We went to a local pub, and then I bought her a piece of pizza.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. And then you just hang out, I guess. I don't know. My thing was always, like, you walk in, and then the girl that's, like, yapping the most is the one that's like, oh, I got to get the radio guy's attention. And so I would put up the hardcore ignore. I mean, that's how I got my wife. She hated being ignored. And I would ignore her. Like, she would email me stuff about, like, clients and stuff, and I would ignore her emails to the point where she complained to the program director and stuff. And there was that heat there as far as, like, her being mad at me and why. And she was always, like, wondering why. Why won't he talk to me? Why? Then I fucked her.
Was the sex angry? Like, did she take over? Was she just mad at you, Chris?
No, not that. No, because when we had sex, she was drunk and I was drunk and stuff. But and I was nice to her because I was getting it. That's when you know. But yeah, you just gotta ignore these broads. You know, like the best thing is if you're hanging out with your friend and then one of them goes, oh yeah, he works at blah 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 whatever. And oh really? What's up? And then you go, yeah, cool. And then you just kind of walk away. And you're like, well, what the fuck? They'll be like, what the fuck? Why can't the radio guy? Because she's thinking he get me tickets, or I love that station. I can go see shows or whatever. Or he's got to be cool. He works at the radio station. But you're like, no, I'm too cool for you. Fucking beat it. So they hate that rejection.
That's a good point because their whole life, they're the hot chicks that seek attention. Like the girl that I was talking about in Cleveland, she would ditch me at the bar, and it was like she was getting passed around. She would talk to this dude, this dude. I should have ignored her.
She was going to the different because she was going down going up the upgrade ladder. That's all that is. It's upgrades. So you got to treat them like, oh, you're not the next rung for me. And then they're not going to like that shit. So all these girls are going to go like, well, what the fuck? Why won't he talk to me? Who the fuck is he? You know? You just got to be a dick. But
that's the thing is, when I'm being a dick, I'm like a real dick. Like, people can never read my sarcasm. People think when I'm...
Who cares?
Really?
Yeah, fuck them. What are they going to do? Not fuck you? They're not fucking you already.
That's a good point. Dude, I've had the weirdest sex ever. I banged a 29-year-old fan of the Bone, 48-year-old MILF, a fan from a speed date on Rover Show. That's it. I've had sex 3 times, and it's been the weirdest experiences. I need to pool something where I earn it in a way, and then I bring her back to my apartment. I'm so bad around girls, man. It's infuriating.
No, I couldn't get laid. I mean, like I said, that one girl in high school, but she was my girlfriend. But the only time I got laid was really doing radio. I mean, and I've been fired a bunch of times, so those times I wasn't on the radio, it disappeared.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, the radio, you just got to embrace that the radio's your game.
It's true.
That's it. That's the icebreaker. So you make them work to talk to you.
That's a good point.
You got the gig. You got the gig. Let's be honest. When you go out somewhere, your friends, they want to know what it's like to work there, right? Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want them sucking your dick. So you just tell them, shut up, you know. And then, but the girls, they want to know what it's like and this and that. So you fucking ignore them. Make them work for that.
In what way do you ignore them? Do you like ignore them for the first 10 minutes at the bar and you just walk?
There's no time. You just got to work. Everyone's different. You just got to work it. You know, just be like, fuck, whatever. Hey, that's cool. You know, just be one word answer things and stuff. And then, you know, and if she just decides, fuck it, forget it, then you weren't going to bang it anyway. So don't turn it on and start being nice after that.
How was this for you when you were younger before you got married? Wasn't it annoying when you would hear your buddies talk about, I banged this girl from the gym, this girl from work, this girl I met at the grocery shop?
Liars. They're liars. First of all my friends were always the guys that would say, it's to this day, like, they were too good to be, you know, boning these chicks that are, like you're saying, like a 41-year-old MILF or whatever. You know, if these guys, first of all, they're lying about half of it. Just like a girl lies about how many guys she's been with. They lie. They're not. Your friends aren't just going out there and banging tens and all that shit. They're fucking liars. They're your friends. So if they're anything, I mean, let's be honest. My friends are equal to me or less. They're not fucking banging tens. So they're lying to you.
But even if they are banging like a 5, they're at least bringing in poon at the end of the night. Dude, nothing annoys me.
But they've discovered their game, then, if that's the case. Your game is the radio. So let them come to you.
No pun intended, dude.
Yeah, just fucking let them come to you. Where you work in Tampa?
Yeah, the girls here are gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, and also, Tampa is and Florida itself is a big swinger scene. So, get involved with that shit. That's the shit.
I got to get a girl. Wait, have you ever been a swinger?
Oh, yeah, I've done all that shit. Dude, that's the good stuff. Because they don't want anything to do with you afterwards. They don't give a shit. They just want to get fucked.
Does that place smell just like semen? Like, what's it like at a swingers club?
Well, I've only been to one of those. But I've been to, you know, like meetups, like hotels and all that shit.
What's the vibe like? Is it just whip out your junk and let's bang?
Yep.
Dude, that sounds grimy, though. I got invited to one in Cleveland, and I'm just thinking that banging her would be like a hot dog down the hallway. Like, I don't know if I want anything.
Who cares?
It's true. Why am I being so picky? I got invited to a swinger club in Akron.
Yes, and you know, you're going to wear a rubber, and you're going to get laid, and what's the most important thing? You have a story for the radio forever.
That's true, because that's the best part about us. We can find wacky things, because it seems like when you're on radio, wacky things happen all the time, and that brings for good radio. You know what I mean?
Because those people flock to the radio. They want to be with the cool dude.
See, I've never thought of myself as cool, but maybe I am pretty cool.
Well, like I said, your friends think you're cool. You have a cool job and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the girls do too. You know, don't be surprised, you know, if this starts to work out, if you do what I say.
Yeah.
That you start banging, like these dudes that come out to gigs or whatever, and they have a cute girlfriend. Don't be surprised if you start hearing from the girlfriend and fucking these chicks on the side.
But aren't you nervous that the dude might kick your ass since I'm average and lanky and uncoordinated? Or do you just bang it anyway?
You just do it. Who cares? It's their problem.
But that's when it gets kind of messy, is when they might be engaged or married and they don't have a ring on. That's when you get issues, dude. You might be a home wrecker. You know what I mean?
No.
Dude, you are just a free spirit that banged anything with a vagina.
Yes. Yeah, and it was fun, and I would never do it different.
Or have you ever had any threesomes, any wacky things like that?
Yeah. Another story in Kansas. The Insane Clown Posse was in town.
Yeah.
And these girls won tickets from me, and then after the show, they called up and they said, "Hey, we went to the show. It was great." You know, I was like, "Come on up." And, you know, so they came out to the radio station, and they were all fucking like sweaty and sticky from that soda shit they spray all over the place. And this is getting technical, but at the 50 break, coming out of that commercial break, I would have to do a weather update. going into the song. So I'm talking to them. I'm in the commercial break, and then I go, hold on a second, and I turn on the mic. I start doing the weather. They came around the console and attacked me while I was on the air. And I didn't bang both of them. I banged one, and the other one did other stuff.
Dude, what is it like?
That was the first time. And then after that, my goal was always to have, during the weather, have girls come in and try to get me finished before I was done reading the weather.
Wait, so you were having sex and sex acts on air?
Oh yeah, that's guy. If you talk to old night guys, that's happened. That's a very common occurrence.
What's that like when you're talking on air and you're doing the weather report and a girl's going down on you?
No, I never got, like, you couldn't tell.
Oh really? You never got like huffing puffing?
No.
Dude, I'd be zoning out, man, because whenever that happens, I can't even think. My mind begins racing.
If anything, it's become a thing, a problem where, I'll get too excited and go really quick. Both
ways, or just on air?
It would just get exciting when a girl would show up. I'd be all ready, and then it got like my body was trained that right when it started, I'd be finished pretty quick.
Did you ever have sex with a girl on air? Or not on air, but were you ever having sex with a girl while talking into the mic?
No, never did that. It was always oral.
You never ever thought about just having a girl on your lap and you're going at it?
No.
This is Kid Chris, and she's just going up and down?
No, because then that's me doing the work. I liked it when I was being...
That's true, because then you might hear vibration or moaning, but when there's nothing going on, you're just Kid Chris getting head, you know?
Yeah, well, it was more of a power thing where it's like, you know what? They didn't talk to me in high school. Now I'm standing on the mountain with my microphone, and she's serving me.
And now she's working your microphone, kid.
Yeah, exactly. It was all payback for high school. I'd be a nicer guy if they just spread them for me.
Yeah, dude, it is weird how girls in high school sort of determine what type of person you are. It's just weird how it breaks your heart and you go home and you're like thinking about the girl you want to bang and you're like choking a chicken and then you like get sad afterwards because you know that she's banging the quarterback and you have no chance. I just said a lot about my life just now.
Man, you know, I was bummed out a lot in high school. I didn't pleasure myself till I was 16. It was real late. So I didn't know of all that stuff. Actually, it probably would have been better for me as far as relief if I did do it earlier, like I was supposed to, but I didn't know. Yeah. And I probably wouldn't have been as angry. I think all that stuff built up.
Yeah, I did it around like 7th grade, and the first time I did it, I'm like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this? Oh, I did it right. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's weird when you first do it.
I was scared. I thought I broke something, and I was so close to asking my mom to make sure it was okay.
It is weird because you begin to feel the climax, and you go, "Is this normal?" And then you climax, and you're like, "Oh, that was fun."
Yeah.
It's weird how when you do it when you're younger, it's fun, but now when you do it as you're in your 40s or I'm even in my 20s, it's just annoying. You just do it to go to bed. Now what's on Sports Center?
No, you're right. It's just like drinking. Drinking used to be fun before I was 21. Now I do it to numb the pain.
Yeah, dude, I just go through the motions. Like, I used to get so excited in a way. You're like, okay, I'm going to watch porn. I'm going to watch this girl. And now I'm like, God damn it, I have to do this and then go to bed. Like, it's almost like a relief so that I can finally just sleep.
It's a guy's glass of wine.
Do you think girls are like that before they go to bed? Or do girls...
They have a glass of wine.
Yeah, I think they're classier. I think girls try to hide how much they do it as well. They try to pretend that it's not a norm, but the girls that try to pretend so much about it, Chris, are the ones that are doing it a lot.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah, I don't think it'll hide that from you.
Or how about when you're watching porn and you're about to climax and then they zoom in and you're like, why are you showing the interaction between both body parts? I don't need to see this. There's nothing more I hate than when you see like James Dean and Lisa Ann's actual interaction. You're like, I don't need to see this right now.
Right. Yeah, you don't like seeing a shiny crank.
Or how about when you're about to load a video, then there's just Peter Griffin and Lois going at it in some GIF file on the side of the screen, and you're like, all right.
Okay, yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, you're right. I hate those ads on the sides, and it's just like a guy with a fake gigantic crank and some chick just squirting on it, and you're like, how am I'm distracted.
I know.
Too much coming out. It's like the Fox News with all their crawls. It's like porn crawls.
My favorite part is reading the comments. I love people at 25 minutes and 42 seconds. That's when she really hits a spotter. Oh my God, she's gorgeous. Or the guys, she's not that hot. Like, it's not even that the comments are weird. It's the fact that you made an account on Pornhub and you're commenting.
You're right. You know, I felt like shit because I'm sitting here in my computer chair loading into my sock, and I thought I was an asshole until I started reading the comments on PornTube.
Or there's girls online that I look at, like Brandy Love, Lisa Ann. Their tweets are very funny because they actually say some smart stuff. And you read the comments, and the guys are like, CUM over right now. Like, can you come over right now? And it's like, how many times do you think Brandy Love hears that every day? Like, these dudes, you look at their picture on Twitter, they're creepy with some weird selfie in their room, and it's like, do they really think they have a chance that Brandy Love's going to add them, Chris, and then be like, okay, where do you live? I want to bang you tonight. It's weird.
I've never got with a porn star, which is always
that sucks. That sucks, dude.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about it, but I wouldn't even know how to approach it. It would be fun to try, but I think you'd just be setting yourself up for just some regular fuck anyways. So, what they do on TV is different. But that Lisa Ann, she's beautiful, I think.
Oh, dude, she's hot as hell, man. Yeah. And she's like a MILF in the way that she actually bangs like the guys that play at like different like schools. Like she bangs like sophomores in college, which always gave me hope, man. Even though I didn't really go to college, I went to a radio trade school. Nothing brings in girls, dude, like going to a smelly radio trade school in the suburbs of Chicago. Hell yeah, dude.
Okay. That's all right. When you get, dude, the microphone's a powerful tool.
Damn right, dude. I'm noticing that. I got laid 3 weeks ago. I took a girl. Guess what concert I saw? It wasn't a band that's hip. It wasn't country music. It's not a band that draws in girls. I took a girl because I got some free tickets at work to see Mike Jones at a park.
That's okay.
And I got laid at the end of the night.
Yeah. Dude, you do what you got to do. I mean, as long as it does, you got a story out of it. You're telling me a story.
That's true, dude. That actually is a very valid point.
Yeah, dude. Most of the stuff I did was for two reasons: to get laid and for work. So if you're banging some chick that you meet and it's a weird situation or whatever, it's like a write-off for work.
That's so true.
You're getting laid and you got something for work.
How does your wife feel about this? I mean, I know we just talked about it, but dude, you have such a long past. Like, how are you going to explain it to your kids when they find all these shows online about daddy getting head while on air? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to deal with that when we come to it.
I've always wondered about that.
I'm not uptight about that kind of shit with the wife or the kids and stuff. Like, I don't get jealous and all that shit, and I'm not worried about because I have daughters. I'm not worried about that.
What type of dad are you going to be like when they bring a date over? Are you going to be a hard ass? Are you going to be like...
No. All I care about is that they don't get on heroin. That's all I care about.
And they don't get pregnant, right?
Well, yeah, of course. But I would rather... It's hard to say. I'd rather my daughter pregnant than to have a son that knocked up some other broad.
Dude, what type of grandpa would you be? Would you be teaching your grandkids all these lessons about how Kid Chris back in the day got all the girls? Or would you sort of hold back and not tell them?
Yeah, I don't talk about that kind of stuff at home. I mean, it's on the, when it comes time when they're old enough and all that stuff, I'll talk to them about it or whatever. But, it's even if I'm still doing it. Who knows what'll happen? Dude,
you got to write a book, man. Dude, you've lived a crazy life, man. All the different cities you've worked in, all the different experiences, man. I mean, this is something. You're in a major market. You definitely have to write a book.
Yeah, no. My book's on the radio.
That's true, man. Or like at least make like a best of CD or something about your career. Like this is fascinating, man. You've literally lived the life of a radio guy. Some guys marry their wife that's on the air and then they don't get to do this, but you literally were like the badass of the air.
No, I'm not alone with this. There's guys like me that worked around the country that did all this. They just didn't talk about it, I guess. I loved it. I wish I could do it again.
That's true, man. You've inspired me. I'm going to go out this weekend, get laid, and afterwards I'll be like, Kid Chris will be proud of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then call the girl on your podcast and ask her how good you were.
That is one thing. I want to at least get a girlfriend or get like an F buddy, because then that would bring good radio gold. Where maybe you don't break down what happened, but you talk about the date. Like I feel like once I get a girl in my life, it'll expand me. You know what I mean?
No, you don't want a girl in your life, trust me, because you'll get a girl, you'll get hooked on her, and then you won't concentrate on your career.
Really?
Because you'll be into the chick, and then when she goes off to school or does what she's got to fucking do, you're going to be like, oh, what the fuck? And all these guys are going to be all moved up in their careers, and you're going to be like, still, you're going to be like left behind, kind of.
Basically, is it like if you don't try to get girls, does it come to you? Basically,
yeah, just jerk off. Don't worry about the broads. It's true.
That's the meaning of life.
Yeah, trust me, they're not worth it.
They're
not worth the headache. I am more fun. I did it, but obviously I didn't get laid every night. And I've been with pigs and stuff, and it's like afterwards driving home, you're like, ugh, what am I doing? But you do it. That was my high. I never did drugs, so that was my thing. But nothing beats just going to work and hanging out with your friends. So don't think about these broads.
That's one thing that Rob told me was you're not like other radio guys where you expose people on air and you're a douchebag. He talked about how much fun he had with you guys because you guys were just a bunch of bros hanging out on air, and then you'd go to concerts and bars after the show. That's the type of radio I like, where everyone makes fun of each other on air, Chris, but at the end of the day, they're all friends that care about each other.
Yeah, but if you got ignored on our show, then that was bad news.
Yeah, because then they're not showing passion, you know what I mean? I feel like if anybody got ignored on your show, they must really think they're going to come in and just make a big impact and get hired. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm dealing with that now. I can't get interns or anything because everybody wants to get paid to answer phones. And
oh my God! Everyone my age sucks, dude. Oh my God! It's an embarrassment. They all want to get hired and make six figures. And it's like you have to work your way up. Like that's why I grind away at radio. This is what I've wanted to do for like 12 years, dude. It's been my dream. I know that I have to work at it for years.
Just what kind of car do you got?
Oh, I got a 2011 Camry, but it's my parents' car. It wasn't like I went out and got that with the cash I make.
So it's paid off, right?
Yeah.
Good. Just drive that forever and use your money for drinks. That's it.
Yeah, dude. It is weird how drinks do add up, man. I got to get a third job, man.
Well, or just, through work. Try to get friendly with some bartender dude where you don't have to pay for drinks. I've done that too.
That happened to me last weekend. My friend knew one of the bartenders, and we got like 5 shots that were worth $40 for like $8. It was insane. Yeah. Like, isn't it awesome when you get hooked up with like candy shots that taste delicious?
What do you do at the radio station?
I work in promotions for 102.5 The Bone, so I'll go out to events, and then I sometimes answer phones,
There you go. So, so you go out to these events, so you see these bartender dudes, just be buddies with them and stuff, and then they'll start hooking you up.
And I get hooked up with tickets here too. It's awesome when you work hard in radio, how things work out,
Yeah, well, that's the stuff that, I've never, since I was a little kid, paid for wrestling tickets, okay? Ever.
Really?
Yeah, and there was a time where I wasn't working. I was living in San Antonio, and they came to town, and I had an opportunity to get tickets to sit in a private booth where it had its own TV and you could watch and see the ring, and then also watch it on the TV in there and all that stuff. It was a pay-per-view that was happening. It was at the AT&T Center at the time, and I had a connection, but I had to buy the tickets.
Yeah,
and I just was like, I'm not buy. That was like a curse word to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not doing that shit. So I didn't go.
You're so used to it, you didn't go?
Yeah, and you'll get this because you work in promotions and you work in radio. You get jaded. I don't like waiting in line. I like going right into places and stuff. So, like if there's like a restaurant and my wife and I want to go eat, if there's a wait, I'm out of my mind.
Really?
Yeah, and that's just because of the job. Because I only go to places where I could get the hookup in some way or another. You know what I mean? I guess maybe that's a scumbag thing, but I like it too. Plus, you get like a trust. Like over by our radio station, there's a Fridays over by us, and the bartenders there all know us. And we go there, and there's like a trust. You know what I mean? We know them, they know us, so we can be more loose. And we're loyal. So we take care of them, and they take care of us. So it's cool. I mean, so you got to get that hookup going with your job. You got the end because you're in promotion.
Yeah, dude, isn't it awesome too when like people want to pick with you in public, man? Like I work in promotions. I'm on the Mike Kelta show every once in a while, and I have this podcast. But isn't it awesome when you talking into the mic or me talking into the mic makes their day? Like it seems surreal.
Yeah, it's kind of. Well, yeah, you gotta just remember that.
Yeah.
Because if you surround yourself with too many radio people, then you start to do a radio show for other radio people. Fuck that. It's about the regular guy, and then in the average chick who thinks it's cool because then you can fuck her. It all comes down to that.
I just never want to let it get to my head, dude. I mean, at times it sort of does when I talk to guys like you and other big names in radio on the phone. Like, it seems surreal. But, like, here's what humbled me out. When I went home to Illinois for, like, 12 days, nobody gave two shits that I've had 40 interviews since July. Nobody gave two shits that I have the best local podcast in Tampa. No one gave two shits that I work at the Bone. They gave two shits that I'm Ryan Hoppe or that I'm their nephew or this and that. That's what's humbling is if you're not in a town that you're known in, dude, we're nobodies.
Yeah, but that's cool. I like that shit.
It keeps you humble because unless you're like Ryan Seacrest or Howard or Opie and Anthony, you're not going to be a household name, in like every city.
Well, I'm from Syracuse, so I when I go home, it's fun. I like to go and just be able to hang out and see my friends and all that stuff. And they're not impressed by the radio shit at all.
No one gets it unless you have friends in radio or friends that listen to the radio. They just think you talking to the mic and that you're a goofball. Nobody gets it.
Well, I'm no different from high school. I just happen to have a job and I haven't grown up. So none of them are shocked by it. But, actually, that's the best times of my life are going home and hanging out with my friends rather than talking about the radio shit. Actually, when radio gets brought up, I get kind of bummed out because I don't know anything about their job and I don't care, and I expect the same from them.
But this might be the sign that I have an ego, Chris. But I like when it's brought up because I've wanted to do it for so long. It feels like it's me. So then when people don't bring it up at the Christmas table, I get mad. And then I sit back and I go, Jesus Christ, it's Hoppe Hour getting to my head, That's when I wonder if I need to calm down. No,
it's just because it's your baby and you work on it and you think about it all the time that you're wondering why no one else is. Who cares? Fuck them.
That's true, man.
You don't want to have sex with your relatives, so who cares? Right?
It's a very good point. Nothing says having a flaccid penis like thinking about banging your aunt. Nobody really thinks about that. You know what I mean?
Not regular people.
Unless you're like some creep, Like, honestly, I think about it, like never, but if you think about it, anybody who wants to bang someone in their family, there's something seriously wrong with them, dude. Like, that's a messed up life.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really need to discuss that. I think that's a given.
Or I was listening to your show on YouTube before I had you on, the one with Jim Norton from like 5 years ago, and you were playing on a clip from Free FM when you had that creepy like kid toucher on the air that was crying. Dude, that's some weird audio, man. What happened there?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. Oh, wow, that's funny. I didn't know that was up there, but
just search up Kid Chris Jim Norton. It's up there.
This yeah, that was in Philadelphia. We found this podcast of this guy. I forgot his name. I still have them. It was like a group called Boy Chat or something like that. It was all these molester dudes that would get together and do a podcast. And the one main guy was in he was in hiding in like Mexico or some shit. And we used to play the tapes on the radio because it was unbelievable. And the police came. And, I had to tell them where I got the tapes from and all that stuff. And the guys, the FBI busted the dude. You can look that shit up online. I have all the podcasts, so you can't find them. I have all that shit.
Is it weird, man? Because I feel like we're too nice to, like, pedophiles. Because we go, oh, they got touched as a kid. Oh, they got ignored. You want to have sex with kids. Once you're found guilty, you should be on a death penalty, if you ask me. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, once again, you're talking about the given.
Well, it is the given, but no one thinks it. I mean, Jared Fogel's only getting 15 years. Even if it was just a few kids, dude, he ruined people's lives, and people just seem to overlook it. It's because it's something no one wants to think about.
Yeah, well, that's a perfect example of a guy who
had it all.
Yeah, and then he lost sight of what's real. He was living in that big house and shit. So, yeah. And he took that whole use it to get laid a little too far.
Did you hear that audio of him talking to that girl? And he said his favorite type of kids are the ones with a broken home. Dude, my heart sank like as if a cop was behind me on the highway. I immediately got nervous. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how can people possibly be like that? You know what I mean?
So you were afraid of the cop because you think like that? Is that why?
No, I mean, I just got nervous because it's so creepy. It's weird.
You got nervous because he was basically saying the things that you think.
No. I didn't mean it like that, Kid Chris.
No, I get it. That's cool.
No. I meant like it's just weird to think that when we go to a bar, we see a nice hot blonde in a nice dress and a big ass.
And you want to know if her kid's cute.
No, what I mean is that's what I'm into. I love a girl that's got a nice body, but it's weird to think that someone picks a kid that's got a broken home. It's just weird to think that's what he's into. That's what I was getting at. Don't put words into my mouth. I don't want the FBI breaking into my efficiency room.
This show should be called I Love Toddler Hour, right? The Toddler Hour.
Now you're putting words in my mouth, dude. I don't want the FBI saying, we heard what happened when you had Kid Chris from WEBN on. You're under arrest.
It sounds like the only thing clean in your mouth are my words.
Dude, this has been quite the riot of a show. Before I let you go, man, where can people hear your show?
I don't have one anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, what the hell?
No, yeah, it's. Well, I mean, everything's up on kidchris.com. It's cool.
Well, dude, I used to look up Free FM because we had one in Chicago, and I would want to see what the other ones were doing. So I looked up the one, and I really liked your show. And before my dad took away my laptop, I had a lot of your podcasts on my laptop, man. So I've been a big fan for about 8 years. So this was a lot of fun having you on the show.
No, I appreciate it, man. It was cool. I'm glad that you reached out and stuff. And it sounds like you got a cool. Rob works with you, right?
Yeah, Rob's the dude that referred me to get the job here, so I owe everything to Rob. He's a great dude.
That's cool. No, that's cool. It sounds like a fun station to work at and stuff, And I've talked to that Mike dude on text and stuff, and he seems cool. So it seems like a good family there. That's good. It's rare.
Yeah, it's weird where everybody gets along because at my previous radio job, you weren't allowed to talk to anybody else in radio. But here it's like everyone's cool and laid back,
Yeah, that's rare. Yeah, man. Well, that's cool. Well, good.
Well, Chris, keep up the good work, man. I listen to the podcast while at the gym, so it entertains me a lot, man.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Chris. Have a good night, man.
All right, you too. Later, man.
All right, bye. And that was Kid Chris of the Kid Chris Show on WEBN in Cincinnati. Like I said, I used to listen to the show on my laptop back in the day when he was on Free FM in Philadelphia. So to think that 8 years later, he would be on my podcast being recorded at a major market production room in Tampa Bay, I would have thought you're crazy. If you're a fan of Kid Chris and you want to hear about my show and you want to know where to listen, download the app in the Google Play and iPhone shop by searching up Hoppe Radio, or you can go to my website, hopperadio.com, and follow me at Ryan Hoppe Radio on Twitter. This has been Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, saying peace out.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.